Am I the asshole? I told my boyfriend he had toilet paper on his butt crack. My boyfriend was about to get in the shower after using the bathroom. I caught a glance at some toilet paper left behind and laughingly told him to get his toilet paper butt in the shower. It was an innocent tease, and I would have never said anything about it had I known he was self-conscious, but he got very angry and hasn't spoken to me now for several days. He said he is self-conscious about that area and said he didn't even want me to touch him anymore. Had I known this was such a sensitive thing for him, I never would have said anything about it. Update to add that he is a very hygienic person. It's toilet paper. Sometimes a little bit gets left behind on accident. It's bound to happen. I did apologize immediately once I realized he was upset. Not the asshole, you're dating a man whose ego and security is about as strong as the toilet paper in his crack. Not the asshole, you made a silly joke and he has overreacted. Besides, what would he have preferred? That you ignore his paper butt and it goes down and clogs the shower drain. You can apologize for hurting his feelings, and he should apologize for giving you the silent treatment. If this is a pattern for him, shutting down and ignoring you when he is upset, that's an issue. I guess the bright side is, at least he's trying to wipe. But yeah, he's a dick for ignoring you for days over this. You didn't say, but I assume you apologized? Whether you meant to hurt his feelings or not, you did. Hopefully y'all can communicate and work through this misunderstanding. But if he keeps ignoring you, then it's probably time to find someone who will communicate with you. He's self-conscious about his butt? Like, has he been teased before about not wiping well? Because I think maybe he has a bigger problem. So there's 3 things that you could decide aren't for you. 1. He doesn't know how to wipe himself. 2. He stopped talking to you for days about a 1x joke, unless it was more than 1x. 3. He doesn't want you to touch him now. IDK either counseling or breaking up, because this is a huge reaction. Not the asshole, his reaction is so ridiculously overboard that I wonder something else led up to it. Not the asshole, and not speaking to you for days over this is crazy. Am I the asshole for accepting my aunt's help? My mother opened a credit card in my name, spent money on it, and then said she would pay it but only paid the minimum payments instead of the full balance. It was when I was first notified. She got mad when I reminded her, and then even more mad at me when I found out how much I owed now because of her. Almost $1,000, which she said it was only that much because of fees and stuff, and told her how much it was. I found out that she hadn't made a payment since February and it was then December. I politely asked her to pay it off and she blew up at me. I knew that she was having financial trouble, so I hadn't been very aggressive in reminding her and asking her about it. She then held things over my head that she pays for and said that she should have taken them away to pay the card off. Later she offered to only offer the partial amount to the card company and hope that they would forgive everything. I went to my aunt for advice because I was staying with her because my mother said she didn't want me to come home. She offered to pay off the full amount of the card and I accepted. Now my mother is even more mad at me because the family knows what she did now. She is also saying that I don't care about her because I did this. Not the asshole, however. How old are you, op? Over or under 18? Do you have custody of the credit card now, or does your mother? Please tell me you have the card now, or you have cancelled the credit card. Paying it off merely means she'll run it up again. Assuming you're in the US, put a freeze on your credit. Also, sign up with sites like Credit Karma, so you can check your credit history, to ensure she's not opened other credit accounts, and ruined your credit record. Depending on how you think she'll react and how much you value the relationship, she doesn't obviously hand down an ultimatum. Pay auntie back and give me the credit card back, or I'll file a police report for identity theft. Not the asshole. Your mom committed fraud, which is a crime. Lock down your credit with all the agencies to keep her from doing this again. Call the credit card company and tell them your mother opened the account in your name. I'm guessing it had nothing to do with giving you the option of a credit card and everything to do with the fact that she has been denied credit cards because of a lousy credit rating. If she's buying non-essentials on the card, that means she's short of cash because she has terrible spending habits. If you do nothing, you'll wait a long time to get another card that you want. You've already got a crappy credit rating without buying anything. Not the asshole. It's illegal to open a credit card in someone else's name and it is financially damaging to you. Even though it's your parent who you love, if your parent was physically abusing you or doing other illegal things to harm you, it's 100% not okay and you need to protect yourself from the harm. That includes turning to a trusted adult for help. Never is that an asshole move. A credit freeze could be one way to prevent her from opening accounts in your name. Not the asshole. What your mother did is fraud. She created a debt under your name, refused to pay it, and then blamed you for not reminding her. Then you went to your aunt for help, and your mother got mad at you for exposing her crime. Don't let her get away with it. Not the asshole, as the credit subs always and repeatedly say this is identity theft and credit fraud, and needs to be reported to the police. It doesn't matter if they're close family, as close family wouldn't commit crimes in your name, would they? Now it doesn't always mean they get charged, and rarely imprisoned, but it does mean you have a crime number and can get the fraudulent credit removed from your credit record. They're complaining that family now know they're criminal fraudsters. Wait till the police find out and see how much they blow up then. Am I the asshole for telling my housemate she can't give me unsolicited advice? I, 27F, have a strange living situation. I live with a family, Chris, 65M, Danielle, 59F, and their daughter, and do household chores in exchange for rent. I've lived here for 19 months, it's mostly smooth sailing. I work full-time and am applying to law school. Danielle has some issues with boundaries. She doesn't understand why she can't enter my room without permission, for example. And I know it's both due to age differences and the fact that they allow me to live in their house for free. I have to be very careful when enforcing boundaries. Yesterday, I made dinner for everyone after a full day of chores. Around 10 p.m., as I was finishing the dishes, Danielle told me I needed to steam clean the carpet in the living room because the cats had peed all over it. I did, and as I was putting the steam cleaner away, Danielle entered and said she wanted me to do another room. Because it was 10:30 at this point and I still wanted to work on an application before bed, I politely but firmly said, I'm not going to do that. I probably should have said, I'll do it tomorrow, but I was exhausted, so I just said no. I put the machine away, submitted my application, and went to bed. Tonight, as I was finishing up my meal prep for the week, Danielle cornered me in the kitchen. I don't want to fight about this, she said, but I wanted to mention something. Last night when you told me you weren't going to clean the other room, I found it rude. You should be careful when you say things like that at work so that you don't get fired. I was floored. I snapped, Danielle, you haven't had a job since before I was born. You don't get to give me advice about how to act in the workplace. Danielle rolled her eyes and huffed, see, I didn't want to fight about this, and walked out of the room. I called after her, then maybe don't bring it up? Danielle hasn't spoken to me since, and I don't know what's coming. For context, Danielle has only had one job in her whole life, from age 22 to age 25. After that, she quit to raise kids. I grew up very poor. I have been working since I was 14 and supporting myself since I turned 18. They offered to start our arrangement in 2023 because they needed help around the house and I was struggling financially. As for Danielle's work advice, I currently work as a regional manager at a small firm. Not only is her advice outdated, but I can't take it. I'm a people manager. A lot of my day-to-day job involves being polite but unyielding. I think she was frustrated by my setting a boundary and that's why she brought it up. I know part of my frustration is that I feel powerless to protest most of the time. I will be moving out in August of this year when I go to law school, hopefully. And my goal is just to make it until then. I'm also really frustrated that Danielle felt like she could say whatever she wanted and then walk away as if I had no right to feel anything. Am I the asshole for what I said? You are the asshole. Not for saying no, but for how you said it. You were not polite. Also, Danielle is not your housemate. She and her husband are your landlord's bosses. You may not be paying rent, but you are paying by being live and help. So, when you told Danielle, I won't be doing that, instead of I'll do it tomorrow. You were rude to your boss. Also, her advice wasn't outdated. If you spoke to your supervisor at your job that way, there would definitely be a follow-up conversation about your choice of words. My day-to-day job is being polite but unyielding. Unyielding you were. Polite you were not. You are the asshole. I really feel people on Reddit live, Hail Mary full of grace, lives in which they are extremely perfect. I understand that we are here to listen and judge, but sheesh, some of the advice is so childish. 10:30 is extremely late to ask someone to do a chore after allowing a long day to go by and not mention its need to be done. You could have responded better, but I also understand the annoyance. People saying they're like your supervisors is insane considering she doesn't pay you to clean. You have an agreement as tenant, landlord. Be honest about your availability. And when you can do things. Do apologize to her because raising kids full-time isn't for the weak. She isn't wrong. And your response kind of proved why she felt like she had to give you advice. Oh, and dismissing her common sense knowledge because she hasn't earned it is so extremely rude. You get a you are the asshole for that alone. Info. Do you have a rental agreement in writing? Work exchange needs to be clearly defined, including but not limited to hours, availability, no contact places, times, tasks, etc. Someone who's demanding you steam clean 2 rooms at 10:30 p.m. is highly suspect. Chores is too often seen as women's work, aka undervalued and unpaid invisible labor. However, invisible labor done by women is incredibly expensive both in cost and time, aka you may well be doing more than would cover the cost of your rent. Also, I'm inferring from your post that you're most likely downplaying their requests. Not the asshole, but why are you still there? You say you're a regional manager, but you're still acting as a servant to this person who seemingly doesn't lift a finger around the house. I don't get it. Does your day job not pay much? Am I the asshole for not letting my wife name our dog something stupid? I'm new to Reddit, so hopefully I do this right. I, 32M, have been married to my wife Natalie, 30F, for 4 years now. We have been living together with our 2 cats, Victor and Warwick, since. The cats were mine before we got together, both of which I named after my favorite video game. Well, since Nat and I have been living together, she has been begging for a dog. Nat grew up with a golden retriever which she adored, and she had been pleading for us to get one. I was hesitant at first. I've never been much of a dog guy and I was unsure how the cats would react to having a dog around. Well, this Christmas, as a late Christmas gift, I caved, and surprised Nat with a retriever puppy. I gave her permission to name the dog anything she wanted. Bitch. She chose Bitch. She said it'd be funny, and she'd always thought naming a female dog, Bitch, was comical. I found it less funny. Not only would vets look down on us, but every Sunday, Nat and I babysit the neighbor's kids. 8F and 6M. What do we say when the kids ask about the fact the dog would have a collar with Bitch on it? I thought it was stupid, and told her no. She told me I had just said she could name the dog, which is true, but I said I paid for the dog, and should at least approve the name. It's our dog after all. She said I was an asshole for taking away the freedom to name the puppy. Am I the asshole? I thought you were going to say something weird, not deplorable. Are y'all planning on having kids? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's insane to call a dog that. As a nickname it's fine, but that's such a charged word. Since it's derogatory, it shouldn't be a name. Also, love the league names. Not the asshole. Tell her no reasonable person names their pet a word that a child would be scolded for saying. Name the pup Jinx and get another cat to name V. Not the asshole. Seriously, I am the last person to judge swearing. I'm Australian and I swear like one. But that is absolutely dumb as fuck. It's not appropriate on so many levels. Even outside of the vet and the neighbors. What about when she takes the dog for a walk or goes to the dog park? Is she really going to just call out to, Bitch? Does she honestly think no one is ever going to say something? Eventually you're gonna get some disgruntled parent coming up to ask why the hell you're calling out bitch in front of their kids. There's a time and place and this is not it. Not the asshole. What do we say when the kids ask about the fact the dog would have a collar with bitch on it? Natalie cares more about freedom than good taste. Not the asshole. Your wife has the maturity of a 12-year-old boy.